Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. This is it. This is the big one. Manchester United travelling to Wembley for the FA Cup semi-final against Coventry City. Joining me is my favourite member of the Sloppy Joes podcast. It's Mr. Joe McGrath. How are we doing?
Yeah, I'm very well.
Yeah.
Hey, what? I mean, it's the big one. We're going against Coventry. On paper, we should win. But there's those little murmurings in the back of my head going, I think it's going to be an interesting game, you know.
Do you?
I really think it's going to be a pretty good, not neck and neck. I think we will edge it, but they'll put us through our paces a bit.
Yeah?
100%.
Right, well, we're going to get into all that. Before we do, though, there's a couple of things I want you to do. First of all, you can like, share and subscribe. Go and check out Sloppy Joes as well. But also, get your phones out, film yourselves in landscape, giving us your score predictions, and we'll use it as part of our pre-match build-up. Send that to paddockmatchday@gmail.com. 30 seconds, score predictions, who you think is going to score, all that jazz. Let us know. Send it to us, and you'll be part of the channel for the watch-along. Right. Joe.
Yes.
For any game this season, you can go, oh, well, it's a tricky one. They're a good team. Maybe other than perhaps Newport and Wigan, you can make some excuses. I feel like this one, despite the fact that obviously Coventry beat Wolves to get to the semi-final, there's no excuses. Manchester United have to win this game.
Yeah, but get this. So I was doing on another radio show that I do, doing a little phone-in, and we were looking at the comparisons between successful football teams in your area making your area better in other parts of it.
Yeah.
Like, the economy and how it's growing. You look at Stockport County, they won League 2 the other day, and Stockport as a region is on the up. Look at us in Manchester with one blue side, the red side has always been great. We are probably one of the London is obviously a colossal city, but we are the second biggest city in the UK, no doubt, and we're famous across the world. And whilst we were doing that, the people were getting callers in from different parts of Greater Manchester. Bury and Oldham and Rochdale have had it rough recently, so they were talking about the decline of their local area. We get a Coventry fan calling in. He said the town is buzzing for Sunday. Yeah. He said the pubs are sold out of tickets for you to go watch it. Right. He said they've packed out the entire Wembley section they've got, and the feeling of the town is that it's a one-off game for 90 minutes. And they're beating Man United on the weekend.
We have got to.
I was giving this guy. I was stunned by his
We've
call.
got to ruin that for him.
Got to ruin it.
We have
Coventry.
got to. Like, come on.
So they're up for it, and I think they'll see some of the games you've had recently, and they'll be like, if we can do certain things well, and when we can catch these guys on the break, and we can look at the space that they leave in that sort of their final third, maybe, just maybe, this can be a giant killer.
When you think about it, right, this is the best time in over 30 years for them to play us.
Yeah.
But like, we are statistically the worst we've ever been, not just in the Premier League era, but probably the year before. We won the Premier League, we finished second in Division 1. So it's probably the worst we've been since before then.
Yeah.
So this is an opportune moment for that. But even saying that, even with that, I still feel like you look at United, you look at the team we've got, the resources we've got, despite the fact we've been terrible, we've still had some decent results this season. Not many, but enough to make me think we can get past Coventry City. I mean, this is a silly question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is this the only way to save our season now? Is this it? Are we all in on this?
If we look back at this season, knowing that the FA Cup was won, I mean, it really does depend where we finish. Because FA Cup and finishing ninth sound. I know we'll enjoy the day.
I don't care anymore about the league. Because I'm not just saying this, right? I like the Europa League. I think it's all right. I'm not one of them who doesn't want to be in it. Or I'd rather be in the Champions League, but I don't mind being in the Europa and winning it. But there's a part of me that feels like if we're not in Europe next season, it's not the end of the world. If we win a trophy and finish 8th or whatever, I can stomach it as a fan because we've won a big trophy. The FA Cup is a big trophy.
Yeah, it is.
And then if I'm going to put my positive spin on it, it's like, okay, we can go into next season. We haven't got European football. You can go proper all in on the league.
It is what's interesting.
I'm not saying I don't want us to get Europe. I'm just saying that for me, winning the FA Cup would make it a good season.
Well, the last time we won the FA Cup, I believe when Vanguard, did we finish 5th? For the Vanguard season.
I can't even remember. We didn't make the Champions League. I think it might have been 6th.
We've had a bad end to the season, but you know what? The FA Cup win did give us a little rise to our spirits. Van Gaal's literally sacked. I was late
in the dressing room on it.
In the dressing room. It was a crazy circumstance, which I think as United fans, we thought we'd never be in again.
No.
But you don't know what's happening in the background. Ineos holding their cards close to their chest. What if it comes out that there is already a manager already signed up? 9th place is not enough for Ineos. Yes, the silverware is nice, but they want someone long-term who's going to lead United back to glory. It could happen again, that even though we as fans think an FA Cup has saved our season, something's already happened in the background that has changed the direction of which the club's going to go in. I'm nervous about that for Ten Hag.
I'm nervous for Ten Hag. I think you just don't know what's going to happen with him.
Can I say this?
Go on, say what you want.
If he finishes 9th and we don't win the FA Cup...
Oh, he's done. He's done. He don't survive that. No chance. 9th and no trophies. Mid-table and no trophies.
If he finishes 8th...
And no trophies.
Any position in the league without a trophy, apart... Yeah, you're going to say top 4. But is any position in the league, does 6 still keep his job?
I don't think so. I think he's got to win a trophy to keep his job.
This is it.
I think it's it.
And it's only 2... What, you hear Ethan pissing himself in the corner. This is it. 2...
What? I'm curious to what...
Why are you laughing in there?
Ethan's laughing at.
What are you laughing at? Yeah,
what?
It's dramatic. We're being dramatic, you say.
Well, we have standards at our football club.
Do you know what I mean? Eddie Howe.
Do you know what I mean? Eddie Howe got to the final of the Carabao. Let's give him a statue like we did for Shearer, even though we won out. Anyway, with all that being said, let's go to our predicted 11s.
Yes.
Joe, we'll go to Joe's first. Let's do Joe, because he's the guest.
Yeah.
Talk us through your predicted 11. This is the team you think Erik Ten Hag's going to pick.
Yeah. And it's also a team I think he's kind of the strongest. I mean, I was picking my starting 11 whilst doing a show in a sweet shop today, so I got you to send me injury doubts.
I worry about you when you're eating sweets.
Yeah.
You look like already you're on the cliff edge. No one falls off a cliff like Joe McGrath.
Oh, mate, it's
honestly, I was telling Joe something about this. Me and him was on a watch along once, right? And he's full of beans like he's now. I turned to the other guest, spoke to him. I turned around and it was like you drank a pint of gin whilst I'd turned my back to you. I turned around and you were like that. I was like, what's up with him? What's going on?
I don't know why it makes me so tired.
He just fell off a cliff.
I'm not falling off a cliff yet. I'm still on top.
Right, while we've got you there, give us your prediction.
Onana. We've got Wan-Bissaka, Delo on the wings. And then you've got Maguire and Kambuala in the centre. I mean, unless anything drastically changes with injuries, that looks like the best.
We're recording this before the press conference anyway, because Joe's a busy man and he was available, so we had to take that opportunity. So if you've got information that we haven't got, don't lose your minds with us and say, what are you on about? Martinez, he's fit and the manager said he's going to start. Why have you not put him in? This is the information we've got.
Because one of the things I would have looked at is the possibility of McTominay coming in, but he's currently doubtful as time of recording.
Everyone's doubtful, aren't they, at best?
So I've gone with Mainu, Bruno and Mount.
Well, the thing that's wrong with that picture is I can't see a Casemiro. I can't see 5-time Champions League winning Casemiro, arguably one of the greatest defensive midfielders of a generation.
I'm not asked about him at the minute. He's just been one of those players where he's not stepped up for us, has he?
No, he's
has he? I'm looking at your team.
Right, yeah.
I can't see a Casemiro on your team.
Well, all right, then you've gone your team. Let's go mine.
Right, Rashford, Højlund, Anthony. There you go.
Right. The only difference between
Garnacho, I've gone for.
You've gone for Garnacho.
I've gone for Garnacho.
Right. The only difference between me and you, and this is predicted, I've got Garnacho on the bench and I've started Anthony because I think he will.
So you're stunned by this. Casemiro and Garnacho for the FA Cup semi-final.
Yeah, purely because, right, I feel as though if we are chasing the game, Garnacho can come off the bench and do some bits for you. And I think there's been a little bit of a question mark over him recently with what happened at the in the Bournemouth game, where he didn't have a great first half. He looked a little bit leggy. And I think it might be catching up. He's 19 years old. And he's played some 30 games on the spin.
Do you know why we've overlooked that? Because Mainu's coming in, Mainu's younger.
But Mainu had half the season. I know he's injured, but and not everyone's the same as well. You can't say, well, Mainu did it at 18, so he can play every week.
No, but what I mean by that is we've forgot how young Garnacho is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the young focus is on, look at Mainu, isn't he unbelievable? He's 18 years old, look what he's doing. Yeah, but look at a year older. Garnacho is 19 and he's done an incredible season. Yeah, I think for me he's the player of the season for me.
Really?
Yeah. I love Mainu, but I really think the excitement Garnacho would give us this year, and if you can top it off with being successful in the FA Cup, starting, my team scoring.
Yeah.
I think he wins.
Okay, fair enough. Right, with all that being said, don't forget to give us your predicted 11s as well. Let's talk about Coventry. Like, I mean, they've had a bit of a bad run, if we're being brutally honest. They've lost quite a few games recently. Obviously, they got past Wolves in that quarter-final. They've beaten Leeds, yeah, we all hate Leeds. But they're not exactly setting the world alight. I think they're 8th in the Championship. They have got some good players. The two sort of standouts are Haji Wright and Ellis Sims. Excuse me, bit of windy pops. Who I think they've got 30 goals between us, or 28 goals between them. So, obviously, banging them in.
Yeah.
And we've seen what they can do to Wolves. We've seen what they can do to a Premier League team if you don't take them seriously. I mean, with all that being said, do you still feel like, look, they've got some good, decent players, but looking at the league position, looking at where they are, we should be all right, or just do you think we need to be mad?
Both of the Coventry and United had quite a thrilling end to their games, didn't they, for the quarterfinals? Coventry were nearly
unbelievable
down and out and turned things around, and it was a great way of just picking apart a Premier League team. As football fans, we the league is often sort of straightforward, isn't it? But there is something about cups that can bring in another element to a game of football that you just don't quite understand. It's like magic, mythical in a way, isn't it? Like I mean, we look at Madrid yesterday when they beat City. They just got something to do with the Champions League. Is incredible. Yeah. I don't know what it is. They should have been beaten yesterday, but for some reason held on to it and they get a win. And it could be the case that there's something in the water for Swansea.
Yeah.
And this is their year for the FA Cup, not to necessarily win it, but to sort of go all the way.
I think, the stats I had were for the Championship only, so I think they've actually got more than 30 goals between them in all competitions. So fair play to them. No, I know what you mean. Listen, Coventry have got pedigree in the FA Cup. I think was it 1987 they won it. So
good year.
Listen, was that when you were born?
No. I was born in 95, mate. I don't know what's going on in 87. When was the Summer of Love?
67, wasn't it? You're only 20 years out. Anyway, join us next week for more history for the insane. Right, give us your score predictions, please.
I think it's going to be tricky, but I think we'll win 2-0.
Yeah? Clean sheet, Manchester United.
Yeah.
You mean that Coventry aren't going to score from one of the 40 shots we give them?
Do you think we'll allow them to have as many shots as like an average team gets against us?
I think they'll have shots.
Really?
We love giving shots away. We absolutely stink of giving them a lot of shots.
On Friday.
Yeah, nice.
Like that.
I think they'll have some shots. I think they'll score, but I think United will win 3-1. Famous last words. Hey, seriously. I've said it a few times about this game, like we're going to win, and I'm going to get clipped right up if we don't. Joe, where can people find you?
Sloppy Joe's podcast. Give us a listen. Good fun. Jay was on it. Mate, I was listening back to our podcast the other day. We ended up talking about the moon. You sponsor an African kid.
Yeah.
And then when we realised in Arsenal you didn't sponsor him anymore.
Yeah.
And hash browns.
Perfect content.
Great pod.
Go and check out Sloppy Joe's podcast. You know where to find me as well. Make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. We're going to be back for the watch along for the game, the big one, the FA Cup semi-final against Coventry City. Thanks for watching.